Hello and welcome to Late to School, a My Hero Academia watchcast. I'm Lorena.
And I'm Zach.
And this is the finale.
Yeah.
The final.
Our final for My Hero Academia.
What the fuck are you doing?
I was trying to switch the E's.
Okay. Boku no Hero Academia.
Hero. It would be Hero.
Is that not what I
it's
said?
Like, no. You
What
said Hero.
Oh. Academia. I don't think there's anything we need to cover before we start.
No, probably not.
I already issued the correction about 13.
Yeah. I do want to preface, I did better notes this time than last time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So now maybe we won't mix up which part of the episodes happen in which episodes.
Uh-huh. There's a little insight into how the sausage is made. Our first episode this week is episode 12, All Might, which first aired June 19th, 2016 in Japan, and July 28th, 2018 in English.
It's still really funny to me that the episode is just called All Might.
It's a lot about All Might.
It is a lot about All Might.
All Might.
All Might. It doesn't have the dash in it.
Out of Might.
Does his name have a dash? Or
no,
am I crazy?
It's just 2 words.
It's just 2 words?
Mm-hmm.
Why did I think
it's just 2 English words, even in Japanese.
Why did I think it had a dash?
I actually can't remember how it's written in Japanese. It might just be katakana or hiragana or kanji.
Okay.
That spell out All Might.
Okay. But yeah, when we start this episode, we get a brief recap.
Yeah.
Of all the heroes getting real fucked up.
Uh-huh.
13
mm-hmm.
black holing herself.
Mm-hmm.
And Aizawa getting his face smashed into the cement by Birdbrain Nomu. And over that, we get a Deku monologue, of course. I'm glad we get a bunch of Deku monologues in the last 2 episodes of Season 1.
You gotta have them.
You gotta have them. And he says, all of us, even the teachers, were scared. The evil we faced clouded our hearts with fear. But the deeper the darkness around you, the brighter the light shines when a ray of hope appears. And we see All Might stepping out of the dust in front of the entrance to the USJ. I can't remember why there was dust.
It's smoke. It's a fucking wrestler entrance. He's got the smoke machines going.
I feel like he's got more higher priorities than
I think he smashed the door open.
Okay, yeah. It is a wrestler entrance, huh?
Yeah, basically. Besides being Superman, that's what All Might is, really. Yes. He's a wrestler.
Mm-hmm. This is a story about Deku finding out pro wrestling is fake.
Uh-huh.
And everybody, upon seeing All Might, all the kids are just like, it's All Might!
Hey! Except for the ones who are still stuck.
Yes.
And can't see him.
Uh-huh. And All Might explains that he he suspected that something was up when he couldn't get in contact with... He's just explaining this out loud to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He knew something was up when he couldn't get into contact with Aizawa and 13. And that was confirmed when he ran into Ida.
The way over.
Uh-huh. And he informed him of what was going on. And also, after explaining this, as he's still sort of walking forward and everyone's just staring at him, internally he's like, shit! I can't believe all this shit happened while I was resting.
Yeah.
And he's like, I have to make sure to reassure everyone that everything's gonna be okay. That's my duty as the symbol of peace. And he says, have no fear, students. And he rips off his tie and his jacket, and he says, because I am here.
Yep.
With a grimace.
Yeah, uh-huh. Which Deku kindly points out.
Uh-huh. He's not smiling.
Nope.
That's unusual. And a bunch of the villains, the Mook villains that are still up, are like, holy shit, it's All Might.
Holy shit, it's All Might.
I haven't seen him in person before. And they're like, okay, fuck it.
Gotta kill him.
Gotta kill him. And one of them starts shooting bullets out of his hands at him. I don't know if it's the guy who had the bullet hands the first time, but...
I think that... I don't know. Maybe there are multiple villains with bullet hands.
You know, quirks probably show up multiple times.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
We know that quirks are genetic,
so
there's gotta be, shared lineages of quirks. Although it hasn't been that long, but yeah.
And All Might just fucking pummels them all instantly.
He runs faster than they can see him, and just knocks them fucking Omewa no wa. Fuck, I forget how it goes.
Omewa no Shindiru.
Dead.
Yeah,
you're already dead.
Yes,
and they're already knocked out. Fucking Zawarudo.
There's a video game where you can do that.
There's like Zawarudo?
No, not quite that. It's
called Sonic the Hedgehog Adventure 2.
Can you do that in that game? Can you use chaos control?
It's called Shadow the Hedgehog.
There's a free video game on Steam, I think, called Undefeated.
Okay.
That is like a Superman-esque game where you just play someone who's literally completely invincible to bullets and also can just spam a button to punch a bunch of people very fast.
Cool.
It's really cool. And Shigaraki? Is that his name? Handman?
Tomura Shigaraki.
As
Kurogiri constantly reminds us.
The hand guy. It says, after all this waiting, the heroic piece of trash finally shows up.
It's a good Shigaraki impression.
Thank you. Also, I like to think he meant peace P-E-A-C-E.
That doesn't... I guess.
Because symbol of peace?
Yeah, sure.
It's a pun.
Right, but it's still a pun if he's using peace, the right one.
Is it?
Yeah. Because it sounds like peace.
I guess.
Like he's the symbol of peace, but he's a piece of trash.
I guess. Anyway, then All Might just fucking saves Aizawa.
Yeah, he grabs Aizawa and then...
And also Deku and the other...
Yes, he grabs...
Sue and Mineta.
No.
What?
Mineta dies. Mineta's dead. He's under the water. He saves Sue and Deku, though.
Yeah, that's true.
And he runs them all, back towards the entrance.
And he did this as hand guy, I just said his name, Shigaraki, was prepping to fight him, and All Might just sort of punches him on the way.
Yep.
Knocks his face hand off his face. And yeah, All Might brings the kids and Aizawa a safe distance away and tells the kids to carry Aizawa out of here to get him to safety and, get some medical attention because he's real fucked up. And meanwhile, Shigaraki is having a moment. Because he was not expecting this to go down this way. And we hear him, talking to himself.
It's so hard to tell when Shigaraki is speaking out loud and when he's, internally monologuing.
Right, because there's only a slight echo effect on the internal monologues in the show.
Yeah.
If even that. And we can't see his mouth moving most of the time.
Yeah, because he has the hand on his face. Which he does pick up and replace his face hand.
What a sentence. And he is talking to himself saying, "He's still fast, father. Somehow he managed to hit me." So that's weird.
Yeah, that sure is weird.
And
I don't even remember what that is.
And he also talks. He talks a lot about All Might here as he's placing his hand back on his face and covering his face with his hands, his actual hands,
right?
The hands that aren't. God, I hate describing this guy.
He's scratching his face.
He's scratching his face, and also just cover. He doesn't seem to want his face to be seen.
Right.
And I didn't write down all of what he says here, but
that's for the best, probably, because there's a lot of it.
But he I did note he says, of course a government hero would rely on violence.
Yeah.
Which
we'll get some more
we'll
of that
get some
in a
more
bit.
of that, And Deku, as All Might is telling them to get away with Aizawa, Deku is like, hey, be careful.
You
Yeah,
can't say it in front of the others.
Also, he says that guy, the bird guy, he took a full punch from one. I punched him and he didn't. Nothing happened.
Notably, also in this scene, like whenever Deku slips up, it's very clear that Sue is like,
Because as we have established, Sue is the smartest person at this school. But All Might gives him that thing. He does that thing with his. I don't know how to describe this. I'm doing it to Lorena now.
You do the peace sign in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Basically.
And he's like, it's all right. So he's got his confident smile back and everything now. And he reassures Deku to just fucking go. And then he starts fighting the villains.
Yeah.
The big three guys. Mainly Nomu.
He's mainly fighting Nomu.
He opens with a Carolina Smash. It bugs me that only one of them is named after a city.
Which one?
Detroit Smash.
Oh, yeah.
All of the others are states.
Yeah. Detroit's basically a state.
I don't know if that's true.
It's like New York. City. Manhattan. No, Manhattan is part... Is Manhattan the name of the whole New York City?
No, it's one of the districts.
Okay.
It's like Manhattan...
Boroughs?
Brooklyn...
Is that the word?
Maybe. Long Island? Long Island and Manhattan might be the same.
No, I think Long Island's its own state.
That's not true.
What am I... Oh, I'm thinking of Rhode Island. Listen, America has too many... These should all be countries. Fucking... Separate all of your shit.
The ununified states.
Yeah.
Of the North American continent.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
just a mass secession.
Yeah.
Just a mass mutual secession.
Fucking...
The only one who would be screwed over by that, really, is Washington, D.C.
Fuck Washington, D.C. Fuck D.C.
Fuck DC Comics.
Yeah. Anyway, superheroes, like DC Comics, you know? But yeah, the Carolina Smash does not do much to Nomu. And All Might's like, yep, Deku was right.
I think at this point, Shigaraki also sort of exposits a bit about Nomu.
He talks about how Nomu has shock absorption.
Yeah.
Has a shock absorption quirk, which means that All Might is useless. Even if he, punched him a billion times, he wouldn't get tired. And All Might's like, thanks for telling me his weakness. And just keeps punching Nomu. Until eventually he, grabs him in a suplex.
And suplexes him so hard that just a massive, an explosion of a cloud of dust just covers the whole battlefield. And we cut back to on the top of the stairs where the kids that were with 13 are watching this, and the guy, have they said the guy in the yellow suit's name?
Yeah, that's
Saro, right. And he says, yeah, take that, bird brain! And I'm validated.
So there aren't gonna be many opportunities to talk about the voice actors for these characters.
Yes.
So I'm gonna go over the ones that are here at least.
Okay.
Now
we do not get a lot of present Mike zooms in this episode, or the next.
So first off, we have Saro. His English voice actor is Christopher Bevins, who is Yasuhiro Hagakure in Danganronpa. Japan in Hitalia.
Great.
Hiroshi Morenos and Michiko and Hachin.
I don't know what that is.
It's a good show that we should watch sometime.
Okay.
And Dulcine in Street Fighter 4.
I know of Dulcine.
Yeah.
That seems like maybe a shame. I don't know what Christopher Bevins looks like.
He's white.
Okay.
He's not... He's at the very least not...
Dalsim?
Indian?
Indian.
I
think Dalsim is Indian.
I don't know much about Street Fighter.
It's hard to tell because all the characters are so racist that it's like...
Yeah, you look at them and you're like, this isn't what a person looks like. I don't know. And his Japanese voice actor is Kiyotaka Furushima.
Uh-huh.
Who is Paul in the Pokemon anime.
Okay.
And various Pokemon.
Okay. Mainly a Pokemon guy.
Next up.
Oh, are we just gonna chain? We're just gonna chain them?
Okay. We've got Mina Ashido, Slug Girl.
Right.
Who is played by Caitlin Glass.
That's a cool. That's a superhero name already.
Yeah. She is Winry Rockbell in Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, I know that one.
Cammy in Street Fighter. At least some Street Fighter games. I think they replaced Cammy's voice actor recently, but I could be thinking of a different character.
A lot of Street Fighters.
Saki Nikaido in Zombieland Saga.
Okay. Which is another show we have to watch at some point.
Yeah, and Matilda in Fire Emblem Echo, Shadows of Valentia.
I was hoping you were going to say Matilda, but that would be kind of weird.
That would be weird, because that's Mara Wilson.
That's Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson as the Slug Girl from My Hero Academia.
I like Caitlin Glass, but that'd be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Japanese voice actress is Eri Kitamura, who is Sayaka Miki in Madoka Magica.
Okay.
Juri in Street Fighter 4.
God, okay.
And Ami Kawashima in Toradora.
I don't know what that one is.
Next up, we got Sato.
Who is Sato again?
I'm Sato. He's the big man with the yellow outfit.
Wait, I thought you said that was Sero.
Oh, no, they both have yellow outfits.
God damn it.
Sorry.
Who were you talking? Hang on.
He's the tape boy. Sarah's the tape boy.
Sarah's the tape boy. Okay. Yeah. He is not the one who says take that, bird brain.
Okay.
It's the big guy. I said big guy.
I didn't hear you.
Tape boy isn't big.
No, he's very skinny and small. No, he's pretty tall, but he's skinny.
Talk to me about Sato, who is bird brain boy.
He's played by Chris George.
Okay.
Who's
got two first names.
Who is also Death Arms from the first few episodes.
Hey.
Who is Tetsuo Takahashi in Interviews with Monster Girls.
Okay.
That's a better show than the title makes it sound.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
That's all I got for him, though.
Okay.
His Japanese voice actor is Toru Nara, who is Larry Butts in the Phoenix Wright anime.
Oh.
And T-Hawk in Street Fighter.
Oh. The other really racist one.
You can't say the other one. There are so many.
Well, okay, he's the Native American one.
Yeah.
Whose name is T-Hawk.
Yeah, Tomahawk. Anyway, that's all.
Okay.
Of the ones up there.
Okay.
Besides, like, Uraraka, who we've already talked about.
Right. And yeah, also, Deku, Sue, and some other character, maybe, who is also helping carry Aizawa.
Yeah, I don't remember who there was, there's one student who doesn't get a name.
Yeah, it's weird, huh? But that one student is like, All Might's on another level, in like a voice that is probably stupid.
Yep.
And Sue responds, and yet he still has to look at his notes when he's teaching us. Which is really funny. But Deku is concerned.
Yeah.
Because he sort of internally monologues to us about how, like, he actually, like, explains that he saw the news this morning about All Might doing a bunch of cool hero shit, and then also noticed a bunch of minor shit that has led him to the conclusion that All Might is super low on energy and he could shift into weak mode at any moment.
One of the big ones that's actually kind of neat, because I didn't notice it at all.
Yeah,
is when they first arrived at the USJ, when 13 greeted Aizawa, they held out 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Indicating that All Might had been heroing for 3 hours, which is his limit.
Mm-hmm. Which Deku noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is like, I'm concerned about All Might. But I can't, I'm the only one who knows that.
And if I try to help, they might take me hostage, which would be even worse than getting in his way. So I guess I'll just help take Aizawa.
And then we see the smoke clearing from, after all of this, we see the smoke clearing from the suplex. And we see that something has gone wrong.
Yeah. Kurogiri opened up a warp gate below All Might, and All Might has inadvertently suplexed Nomu such that he... I'm not sure if Nomu's a person. I think they do call Nomu he. I think Shigaraki uses he/him pronouns for Nomu.
Okay.
But Nomu is like half going into the warp gate, half coming out, and has grabbed All Might from behind, and is like pressing his fingers into All Might's weak spot, and causing it to bleed.
And also, Shigaraki just explains everything that just happened to us. And Shigaraki is like, "Hey, Kurogiri, do your thing." And Kurogiri explains to All Might, he says, "Normally I wouldn't want blood and viscera in my warp gates, but I'll make an exception for a hero as great as you." And he explains that the plan is for Nomu to drag All Might halfway into the warp gates, so he's half in one and half out the other, and then close the warp gate. Kurogiri closes the warp gates. And
just bisect him.
Although,
is it bisecting if you cut someone off at the waist? Does it have to be, like, down, like, vertically?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's still bisecting if, like, you, because when you bisect someone, it's just you cut them in two.
Right.
Deku realizes that this is happening, and is like, well...
That sucks.
Guess I'm running.
Yeah, he hands Aizawa off to Sue, and Sue is like, "Oh, what are you doing, Midoriya?" And Deku just like, as he like monologues to us about his motivations for doing this, he just slowly starts moving towards All Might, and then breaks out into a full run.
And so as he is running panically toward All Might, as he is wont to do. This feels like another moment of his legs just him losing control.
I think it's definitely meant to be like a reflection of him running to save Bakugo.
Right. Although this does feel like more of a conscious choice on his part now.
Yeah, it does.
Which
because
also
like
feels...
he handed Aizawa off, like,
right.
You know.
But Kurogiri sort of shifts in front of where Nomu and All Might are. It's kind of hard to describe this scene because the characters' positions are very strange.
There's kind of a lot of that in this fight.
It's good. It makes good, engaging visual storytelling, visual fight scene choreography. It's harder to describe in podcast form. But Kurogiri sort of cuts Deku off, and Deku is about to run into him, and Kurogiri is going to warp him away. But then, Kurogiri is explosion punched.
Yeah.
By Bakugo. Who yells at Deku to get the fuck out of his way. And Deku is like, hey, what?
Kachan.
And also, Todoroki is here. And Todoroki is like, hey, heard about your plan from one of your goons. Can't let you do that. And he freezes the ground in such a way to freeze Nomu, like half of Nomu's body, which weakens Nomu's grip on All Might enough that he can escape Nomu.
And he, like, leaps back towards Todoroki. And is very clearly in a lot of pain.
And also, Kirishima's here.
Uh-huh.
Because he was with Bakugo. And he sort of leaps out of nowhere to try to just kind of drive Shigaraki back.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't do much with that, unfortunately, but, you know.
You know.
The other guys took care of the big guys, so... Mm-hmm. And Bakugo sort of taunts Kurogiri.
He has Kurogiri pinned down and, like, is holding a hand to his neck.
Mm-hmm.
His armor on his neck.
And he says, "Guess I found your body that time, you smoky bastard." And Todoroki is like, "The symbol of peace will not be defeated by delinquents like you." Which is a hell of a thing for a child to say to 3 adults. One of whom is a giant mutant abomination. And Deku just starts tearing up in relief. And then we sort of cut to Sue and the other kid, I don't know, carrying Aizawa. And they're like, holy shit, because they're also just seeing this as they're carrying Aizawa. And also, the other students at the top of the stairs are seeing this. And they finally are sort of, their 2 groups are sort of meeting up. Sue notably calls Uraraka Ochako.
Yes.
And I love that Sue is just also just the most casual when it comes to everybody.
Although she does call Deku Midoriya.
Yeah, I get, maybe she assumes because Deku keeps calling her by her last name and keeps forgetting to use her nickname that she insists on being called. She's probably like, yeah, that's probably what he would want me to do, I guess. And everybody sort of starts trying to move to safety because they're not being menaced by Kurogiri anymore or anything. And 13 tells Mina, who is concerned, that All Might will take care of everything. And when the other teachers get here, it'll get dangerous, so the students should find some place to hide. So this also establishes, I think this was established before, but, like, this is the ticking clock aspect of, like, eventually reinforcements are going to arrive, but you have to hold out until then.
This also establishes that 13 is alive.
Yes.
Which, the first time I watched this, I was like, oh, 13's dead. Because it's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
It's not as brutal as what happens to Aizawa. And
not quite, no.
He's alive, but
also,
still.
we can see Aizawa's flesh,
which
adds to it. We can't really actually see what exactly happens to 13. And then, cutting back, Bakugo still has Kurogiri pinned, and explains how he figured out, he independently figured out what Uraraka figured out earlier, which is that he has to have a physical body in there because of the armor on his neck.
Explaining also that he uses his smoky stuff.
Yeah. To create a smoke screen, a literal smoke screen.
Yeah.
So that people can't see where his body is.
Which is why Bakugo and Kirishima missed.
And Kurogiri starts to sort of stir, but Bakugo just sort of flashes a little bit of nitroglycerin hands on his neck and says, "Don't move! You try anything funny and I'll blow your ass up right now, you got it? They'll be cleaning you up for weeks!" And Kirishima is like, "Oh, that doesn't sound very heroic." Which is a very funny exchange.
Yeah,
Then, also, another very funny line is Shigaraki. I think he has another short monologue here that I didn't write down the entirety of.
It's fine.
But
he has a lot of those.
Yeah. But he does start it off, or he says something like, you froze Nomu and pinned Kurogiri. Kids these days really are amazing. Which is very funny. And then he says some other shit. And then Nomu, who's still, like, frozen.
Who is frozen on the ground.
Sort of twists and reveals that, he can still kind of move under the ice.
Yeah.
His like, kind of like half of his body is frozen, like one of his legs and one of his arms.
Mm-hmm. He picks himself up, though,
and
just the frozen part just breaks off.
Yes. They his arm and leg shatter.
And he ruins his nice khakis that we haven't talked about.
He does have nice khakis that he ruined, which is a shame. I bet those cost an arm and a leg.
God, that's such... He picks himself up.
And shatters his arm and leg.
And then starts to regenerate them.
Yep.
And All Might is like, hey, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. You said his quirk was shock absorption. And Shigaraki is like, that's just one of his quirks. Mm-hmm. That's Nomu's trick. And
he does, I think, add that Nomu was specifically genetically engineered to kill you.
Mm-hmm. And so Nomu has multiple quirks.
Yep.
At least 2.
Mm-hmm. And also his super strength, which might not be a quirk, considering...
Is not, yeah. He was just genetically engineered to be super strong.
Or it's heteromorphic.
Right.
I
tried searching for that, I couldn't find out what the fuck it meant.
That's a shame. And now that Nomu's free, Shigaraki's like... As he's talking about how Nomu is supposed to kill All Might, he says, but first we need to free our method of escape. And sort of directs Nomu to save Kurogiri. And Nomu attacks Bakugo.
Yeah.
And as Nomu is dashing towards Bakugo, I think it's All Might who says, he's fast! Which is my favorite fucking line in anything. I love that stock anime line of, he's fast!
The speed.
Um,
Such power. You're mine.
But thankfully, that sort of happens. Nomu dashes towards Bakugo, and we see a lot of shit happen at once, sort of. And Kurogiri is free now.
Yeah, we see Deku, Kirishima, and Todoroki getting pushed back.
Yeah.
As Nomu collides and, like, frees Kurogiri.
And they're very concerned about Bakugo. And then Deku turns around and Bakugo is behind him, sitting on the ground. And Deku's like, you dodged him! And Bakugo's like, shut up, no I didn't, you damn nerd.
And...
That's a verbatim quote.
Yeah, And it turns out All Might leaped in the way to protect Bakugo.
Yeah.
And probably, like, chucked him aside to safety. And has been pushed back and, like, crashed through a concrete wall.
And he's very upset at Shigaraki for this. And says, these are kids and you didn't hold back? And then Shigaraki has a monologue.
Yeah. Can I read this monologue?
Sure. I did write it down, I think, entirely.
Okay. Shigaraki says, I didn't have much choice. He was threatening my companion. Besides, these kids are no angels. The plain-looking one, he tried to kill me with a maxed-out punch. What kind of hero does something like that? You think you can get away with being as violent as you want if you say it's for the sake of others. Well, you know what, All Might? That pisses me off. Why do people get to decide that some violent acts are heroic and others are villainous? Casting judgment as to what's good and what's evil. You think you're the symbol of peace? You're just another government-sponsored instrument of violence. And violence always breeds more violence. I'll make sure the world understands that once you're dead.
So, I want to talk about this.
Before we get to All Might's response?
Yes.
Okay.
First of all, there's actually zero difference between good and bad things, you imbecile. You fucking moron. And second of all, I do want to point out that the phrase "these kids are no angels" has aged very poorly.
Why?
Because that's the thing that gets said a lot about kids who get shot by police.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
By people defending police
that
for
sucks.
shooting children. Yeah, it really sucks.
Mm-hmm. It's also like All Might's response, which we'll talk about in a second, makes this less bad, but putting anti-government sentiment into the mouth of the villain is maybe not great.
Yeah, that's the other. I was excited for this bit because I was like, oh, it's motivation. It's like, and also like he was talking about that earlier. Like, yeah, okay, this is part of his motivation. And then All Might says, "You're nothing but a lunatic. Criminals like you always try to make your actions sound noble, but admit it, you're only doing this because you like it. Isn't that right?"
And Shigaraki is like, shit, he found me out.
Yeah, I hate that spin.
Yeah, that's fair. There is like, it feels like there is like any good lie, some nugget of truth in the stuff Shigaraki is saying.
Sure, yeah.
He does seem to like genuinely
feel that way, or to an extent.
At least feel that All Might is like not all that hot.
And that the government-sponsored violence begets more violence.
Which is true.
Which is true. I think it is also worth it to consider that. I mean, this show. I don't want to save all this for the end because I want to just talk about it.
No, that's fair. We should talk about it while it's relevant.
The show is a superhero show, and that means, I mean, it can mean a lot of different things depending on how you are telling your superhero story.
Yeah.
But an aspect of that we've covered, sort of, we haven't talked about. All Might's punches don't kill people.
Right. Yeah.
All Might does not kill people.
We know that they could.
They could, but they never do.
Yes.
All Might can throw villains through walls and shit, and they're fine.
Right.
Like, he shattered a man made of slime, but he was fine because he's made of slime. He just they put him in bottles.
Did we see how like...
I think they do. I think the police have bottles for containing Slime Man.
Okay.
They have, like, containers that they put him in.
Alright.
But yeah, it's... This might be a good point directed at other characters that aren't All Might.
Sure,
Because it seems like superheroes are largely non-lethal in this setting.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which...
Even... Oh god, no, we can't talk about that yet.
Okay. But that does mean that, like... It's not a bad thing for it to be for Shigaraki's thing to be a commentary that doesn't actually apply super well, I don't think. Because he is the villain, and, like...
Yeah, if he was the villain and he was right, that would be annoying.
Yeah. Especially... And also because, like, his justification doesn't make any fucking sense, even if you ignore All Might's response and everything. Like, yeah, obviously he likes this. Because, like... He himself is just being violent for no reason, pretty much, to a bunch of children.
Yeah.
He,
like, literally attempted to murder a child just to make All Might sad.
Right, yeah, that's right. Because they literally thought he was they lost in the last episode, and he was like, well, gonna do some child murder anyway.
And also, like, all his goons have tried to murder these kids.
Right, yes. I think it is, like, it's a shame we don't get more exploration on the world building concept and its problematic aspects of government enlisted superpowered individuals who have basically legal vigilantism.
Right. I mean, this is a show where All Might literally said, being a cop is a noble profession.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at least it seems like the superheroes in this show aren't, like, making up charges to fill arrest quotas like the cops in Japan are doing.
Yeah. It is, like, they're very idealized superheroes, which is fine. I think not every story has to be revolutionary.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I feel like this one isn't. hyper problematic about these aspects.
Right. It is worth criticizing these aspects, but also at the end of the day, it's fine.
It's fine to have like superheroes can be the good guys. This can be a setting where like the government figured out that, hey, maybe you don't need to give everybody a license to kill, but also maybe superheroes can save people, and that's fine too.
Although at the same time, like, as with Flip Flappers, I would not blame someone if they were like, no, this is too much for me.
Yeah, I suppose so. Also for the same reasons that Flip Flappers has, apart from this.
Also true.
From these aspects.
Also true. Anyway,
yeah, I don't know how much more there is to say about that, because I can't form coherent thoughts about it for some reason.
I think we've formed some coherent thought. We don't there's not really a clean conclusion to that line of thought.
Yeah. It's kind of messy.
Yeah. I mean, there's no clean conclusion unless you decide, hey, fuck this.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I do the swift turn is a little weird at the end.
Yeah.
But
Deku sees that All Might is like kind of fucked up a little bit. And he like moves to be like, hey, I gotta help All Might. And All Might like yells at him and the other boys like, stay back, don't get in the way. I've got this. You should go and return to the entrance with the other students. And like notices that Deku is concerned and like quietly gives Deku a thumbs up.
But also internally is monologuing about how...
Yeah, he starts out, holy shit, this guy.
He says he's worried that he has barely a minute left in this form. And then Shigaraki interrupts his monologue briefly to sort of start running towards him and say, let's clear this level and go home.
Yeah. Video games.
And All Might, again, internally is like, even so, I have to stop these villains, because I am the world's symbol of peace and justice.
You get like a very cool zoom in on his face, on his eyes. His glowing blue eyes.
And then All Might starts trying to pummel Nomu. And they punch each other's punches a few times, which is one of my favorite aesthetics in superhero stuff, when you just punch someone and block them with a punch. And they're sort of pummeling each other, and Shigaraki is like, fucked up.
Fucked up.
Dumb, because I told you, shock absorption, can't do anything. And also, All Might's punches start sending massive shockwaves as they're hitting Nomu that don't affect Nomu, but do start blowing everyone around them back. And All Might says to Nomu as they're fighting, I should point out, at some point, I don't remember exactly when, Nomu just roars. Yeah. Nomu just makes kaiju noises.
Yeah, that's happened a few times.
Okay. But All Might is like, he said your power was only shock absorption, not nullification. And keeps punching. And he seems...
Basically meaning that he can do chip damage to Nomu.
I wish they had actually said that. That would be a fantastic...
That would be a good video game reference. Yeah, I don't know if All Might plays video games, though.
Maybe. He probably doesn't have the time.
Yeah.
And he says, if you can really withstand me at 100% of my power, then I'll have to go beyond that and force you to surrender. And they keep punching. It's way cooler than me describing it as they keep punching.
It's the fucking aura.
He punches a lot.
Yeah.
And Deku sort of observes this from a distance and notices that his punches aren't just random, they're targeted. And every single one is more than 100% of his power.
Yeah, this stuff is kind of silly. I think
the percent of his power is kind of weird. Yeah. And All Might continues monologuing to Nomu in a very cool monologue, and says, "A real hero will always find a way for justice to be served." And as he is sort of like, Nomu is on the ropes at this point.
Yeah.
Like, he is clearly getting tired. And All Might says, as there's like an animation reminiscent of the lights and planets and stuff we saw when he was explaining One for All. He says, "And now a lesson. You may have heard these words before, but perhaps it's time someone taught you what it means to go beyond, plus ultra." And All Might punches Nomu in the stomach so hard that Nomu flies up into the air.
He punches him, first of all, that's so hard that all the lights shatter.
Yes, from the shockwave alone.
And Nomu fucking ascends.
Through the USJ roof, and we see him fly through a cloud.
Through a series of clouds.
And then Team Nomu is blasting off again as he sparkles off into the distance.
Yep.
And Shigaraki and Kurogiri are not a fan of that shit.
No.
And everybody watching this is like, holy shit. Wow. That was cool as hell.
The kids near the entrance are like, did a villain just fly by?
And the smoke sort of starts clearing, and Deku sees All Might, and he is saying to them, to the kids behind him, that he really is getting weaker, because in his heyday, he could have knocked that guy out with 5 punches, but it took 300 mighty blows to beat him this time. And then he sort of smiles at them, and I think he gives another thumbs up at this point.
Yeah.
And Deku, I think, starts tearing up a little bit, how fucking cool that was.
Also, All Might is real fucked up.
Yes, his hair is tattered, his clothes are all fucked up, but still, in the same tone of voice, he says to Kurogiri and Shigaraki, "You've been bested, villains! Surrender! We all want this over quickly!" And then, Shigaraki... This is so funny to me. Shigaraki is very upset. And says he cheated as he lifts his hand to his face, and the screen goes black, and we hear a crunching noise.
We hear a single scratch, I think is what it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because okay. It sounded like he took the hand off his face.
Well, we know that he doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying this ending does not suggest that.
Okay.
And then the episode ends. That's the end of that episode.
So the next episode, after all that... It's a weird ending for that episode, also.
It's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. The next episode is episode 13, In Each of Our Hearts, which first aired June 26, 2016 in Japan, and August 4th, 2018 in English.
Okay. Real quick. Before this episode actually started, I got a Corolla ad, an ad for the Toyota Corolla, where a car is slowly pulling through a car wash, and I Put a Spell on You is playing.
What?
And there's a couple, we eventually see a couple in the car at the end of the car wash climb out of the back seat into the front seat as they're like laughing, and they're driving out of the car wash into the rain, and a caption says "dirty > clean," and I think they fucked in that car wash. I think this is an ad about a couple that fucks in a car wash.
I hate that. I hate that. Don't do that.
Don't make that ad.
Don't make that ad.
You already made that ad.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
That sucks. That sucks. Don't buy Toyota anymore.
Toyota Corollas are canceled now because of the car wash fucking ad. So this next episode starts in a familiar location, but not where the last one left off.
Right, yeah.
It starts off in the landslide zone or whatever.
Yeah, we get a,
It's not the landslide zone, it's the quake zone.
Right. We got a summary of what happened.
Yeah. And there's a villain.
There's a villain.
With a skull mask. Who...
That does not look like it would be the size of his head. It looks smaller than his head should be.
Yeah, I didn't, I recognize that now in retrospect, thinking about it. And he is telling Yaoyorozu
And
Jiro, he says, "Get your hands up, and no quirks, got it? Use your powers and I'll kill your friend here."
And he is holding Kaminari hostage.
Yes. Who is still seems to have a fried brain.
Uh-huh.
And Yaoyorozu and Jiro are like, I thought the shock knocked all of them out. I thought it would have knocked all of them out. And this villain says, "I feel a little brotherhood with other electric types, so I don't want to kill him, but I will if you make me." And he sort of flashes electricity from his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And Yaoyorozu and Jiro are like, "Hey, that's the guy."
That's the guy that fucked up the communication.
Yeah. But yeah, they lift their hands up
Mm-hmm.
and are, not doing much, except Jiro is...
The villain is approaching them holding Kaminari.
And Jiro tries to talk to him to distract him, while we see her headphone jack in her right ear start snaking down her back and going down towards her legs with the speakers in them. And Yaoyorozu sees that and is like,
hey,
cool.
And the villain also sees and is like, hey, hey, I told you, no quirks. And he's like, you must think I'm pretty stupid. And then we see the other villains who were knocked out from Kaminari's attack start to wake up. And the villain who is holding him hostage is like, well, now you're in a pickle. Because I told you not to do that. So I guess we've got a new deal. Either you can save your friend, or you can save yourselves. And I think then we cut away from this scene.
And we won't cut back for a while.
Yeah.
But, narrative time dilation probably applies here.
Yeah.
But yeah, meanwhile, All Might defeated Nomu, and Shigaraki is like, fuck. Hang on, wait, I want to do a Shigaraki voice for that.
Okay.
Fuck.
I don't know how that was much different from the other way you said it. It's hard to do an impression with only one word.
Yeah. Shigaraki is also, he talks to himself here some more. And again, didn't write all of this down.
Right.
But there's a specific line he says, which is, he's not weaker at all. Don't tell me I was lied to. So it sounds like somebody told him All Might was weakening. And Deku notices that All Might is steaming. His skin is steaming under. It's hard to tell because of the smoke clouds still there. Convenient smoke clouds. And Deku can tell that All Might is just at the limit of his power right now. If these two try to fight him, he will probably die.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Shigaraki is having a fucking breakdown. But Kurogiri
pulls him back.
Gives him a pep talk. And is like, hey, actually...
Tomura Shigaraki.
Yeah, he does start with that. I didn't write down verbatim what he says here either.
I know. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no. He's like, hey, Tomura Shigaraki, All Might is fucked up. He is weakening. You can tell. Because he's real fucked up. I mean, look at him. So, and also, our goons are starting to wake up.
And we see that.
We see them stirring a bit. And Kurogiri's like, if we take him on together now, we could still kill him. And Shigaraki's like, yeah, we could kill him. That's a little, you went a little Palpatine there with Shigaraki.
I feel like Palpatine I didn't go British enough for Palpatine.
That's fair.
Is he British?
Probably.
It's been so long since I've seen those.
I mean, he's Imperial. He has an Imperial accent.
Right, yeah.
Which also doesn't make sense because he started the Empire. But
lose the accent, Agent. We're no longer in Imperial space. Sorry, that's a reference like two people will get, and neither of them are listening to this podcast.
And Shigaraki says, I mean, the big end boss is right here.
Can't go home yet.
And yeah, the other villains are waking up.
Mm-hmm.
And
All Might is kind of panicking a little bit. Not showing it, but definitely panicking.
The other students also, especially Kirishima, is hyped to hold off these other villains while All Might
takes care of the big bad.
Yeah. But Deku
is internally like, they don't realize I'm the only one who knows that All Might can't hold off the big bad.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, internally we get All Might's internal monologue where he literally says, "Holy shit, this is bad. Where is everyone? I need backup." And Kurogiri and Shigaraki start heading to fuck up All Might some more. But Deku is here.
Mm-hmm.
Deku does not go with the other students to fight the other villains. He is heading to save All Might.
Mm-hmm.
And he does a jump.
Yeah.
He runs forward a little bit and then leaps.
Kurogiri is like feet away from All Might, running.
And
sorry, Kurogiri and Shigaraki.
Right, yes. And Deku puts One for All through his legs to make him jump real fast. And Shigaraki says, "He's fast!" That is not a joke.
That's real.
They do that twice in 2 episodes in a row.
And we see Deku, like, flying towards them. His legs flapping in the wind.
Yes, because they have been broken.
And he is internally like, shit, well, it worked. I did it earlier without breaking my legs, and I thought I could do it again, but guess not. But I did it. I'm on my way to punch.
And he is aiming a punch toward Kurogiri. And then Shigaraki's hand comes through Kurogiri, who has opened a warp gate.
And Deku's like, I recognize that hand.
And
they, like, very slowly, we see as Shigaraki's hand gets closer and closer to Deku's face.
And we flash back to, him fucking up Aizawa's arm real bad. And Deku is very scared. And then, bang.
Bang. There's a gunshot and we see a gun.
We see a bullet go through Shigaraki's hand. And that knocks him aside where he cannot grab Deku's face. And yeah, we see a gun being held by a hero in a cowboy hat.
With a horse-shaped gas mask?
Yeah. And we see a bunch of other people.
Well, first we see him also shoot the villain who is holding Kaminari hostage.
Yes!
He, like,
somehow.
Just, very quickly shoots a bunch of villains who are in the USJ. Does he shoot, the villain who's in the hot zone, too?
I think he might.
Yeah.
I think he might shoot one of the villains in the hot zone.
I think he saves Tokoyami and the quiet boy, too.
Yeah, it's really great. He saves Kaminari and Yaoyorozu and them by just, I guess, ricocheting bullets off of the mountainside in such a way to hit the other electric villain in both arms. And we see a bunch of other folks showing up through the front door of the USJ. And among them is the principal, who
gets the fucking big damn heroes camera angle of the lower half of his face framed in shadow.
But it's still his fucking bear mouse dog silhouette.
It's very funny.
And he says, "Sorry, everyone. I know we're a bit late, but I got the teachers over here as fast as I could." And the other students are looking at this, and Uraraka says, "It's Ida!" And Ida's here. And he says, "Your class rep has returned! I fulfilled my duty, and I brought reinforcements!" And there's a whole bunch of heroes.
Yeah.
Who work at the school. And the Mook villains are like, shit.
Fuck.
Well, let's take them out. Let's try to take them out, maybe. And a bunch of them start shooting towards them. And President Mike steps forward. and he does a metal stream.
He does a big yell
into the microphone thing on his neck.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates a visible, an onomatopoeia, yeah! That just blows a bunch of the villains away. And then we see another guy who we haven't seen before, who has like a big trench coat. He's got like a weird monster face, and he like breathes this white fog that turns into clones of him that all start fucking up the villains. It's very cool.
It's pretty cool.
And then the principal is like, our priority is to protect all of the students. And all the teachers are like, yes, sir! Which is, I do love all these superheroes being subordinate to this small mouse man.
Small mouse dog man.
This fucking Stuart Little-ass businessman.
Don't fucking insult Principal Nezu.
I'm not insulting
by comparing him to Stuart.
What do you have against Stuart Little?
Everything.
He knows what he did.
Sure fucking does. And then Shigaraki and Kurogiri are like, well, shit, now we actually do have to leave. And
they start to go.
But then
Shigaraki is shot some more.
He's shot 4 times in all of his limbs.
And he just fucking collapses. And then we cut back to the shoot man, the cowboy hero, who says, we need someone who can catch them from a distance. And we hear a sort of cracking voice say, I'm on it. And 13 is up on their feet.
Is like being held up by Mina, I think.
Yeah,
And is just
has all 5 fingers on one hand open,
and
to use black hole.
Starts sucking them in with black hole.
And they just Kurogiri is just getting real fucked up by this.
And both he and Shigaraki are like, oh shit, fuck, damn it.
And this is very cool, but it unfortunately does not work.
Yeah.
As they do eventually manage to get a warp gate open.
And get away.
Both Shigaraki and Kurogiri, but no one else.
No one else. None of the other villains.
And then things are sort of chill.
Also, I remember when we said the heroes are non-lethal? Despite having a gun... His power is gun.
His power is good gun. Gun shoot good?
I think his power is he sees really far. Spoilers, I guess. But still. He has a gun. He doesn't shoot anyone in, like, the head or the chest.
No, it's all, I guess, non-lethal shots, but...
There are major arteries in the arms and legs, but not
People in fiction overestimate people's ability to consistently make non-lethal shots with a lethal weapon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, maybe they do draw blood.
They make him bleed, and they're very loud.
They're very loud. I was gonna say maybe they're like pellet guns, but...
No.
I mean, a pellet gun would make you bleed, probably.
If it's I don't know if it would. I think it would just... it would make you bleed internally.
Yeah, it would make you bruise for sure.
But Shigaraki was definitely bleeding externally.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah, so there's still a big smoke cloud and everything where that fight scene was, and Deku is collapsed on the ground and is upset. We also get his internal monologue saying, that day we learned what pros can do and what they fight against to keep us all safe. It was a revelation we weren't at all prepared for, but somehow we survived. And then we see him collapsed on the ground because both his legs are broken again.
Real quick, the show does a very good job of making it clear, like, the various different levels all of these characters are on.
Yes.
Like, Deku and Sue and the other student?
Yeah.
They had a lot of trouble just getting away from some villains.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bakugo, Todoroki, and Kirishima, like, were a huge boon immediately against...
The big three.
The big three. And they are also, like, the 3 who were mentioned as having, like, pro-level quirks.
Right.
And then the actual pros show up and it's done.
Just instantaneously, pretty much.
Like, All Might has a lot of trouble because he's having a lot of trouble. But as soon as a bunch of pros show up, everything is good.
Mm-hmm. It is, I think the thing with that is also, like, the pros usually, I guess, work solo.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, of course, in big crowds, they are extremely intimidating.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Deku is talking to All Might while he's collapsed on the ground. And he's talking to All Might, but also sort of talking to himself, I think. And saying, I couldn't do it. I wasn't able to help you. And All Might says, that's absolutely not true. And
All Might, who is like half...
Yes, we see the dust fall, and he is in half skinny mode, half buff mode. I guess because he's been holding on so long, it's just like a slow transition now, which is probably painful, I imagine.
He changes to a whole different art style.
He changes to a third art style. A third combined art style here, rather. And he says, that's absolutely not true. You bought me a few vital seconds. If not for that, I'd be dead now. Young Midoriya, you've saved me once again. And Deku starts tearing up and says, thank you, All Might. I'm just so glad that you're okay. And it's very good. I love them. And then I think we get a commercial break here. Yeah. And then when we come back...
not in the show itself, but on Hulu.
Yes.
The real commercial breaks are notable by the eye catch that happens. Yeah. But Hulu decided that's not enough commercials.
And Todoroki, who is still with I think Bakugo and Kirishima and that. Well, I say and them. I think that's all of them.
That's all three of them.
He points out that if all the teachers are here, then the rest of the campus must be safe. Because if it wasn't, then they'd be elsewhere. Some of the teachers would be elsewhere dealing with the villains still. So that means they all just did a concentrated assault on the USJ. And Kirishima sees Deku and starts running towards him and is like, Deku, are you okay?
And Deku's like, yeah, Whoa, hold on. Looking towards All Might. And he's like, no, don't, hold on. And then a wall of cement appears between Kirishima and All Might and Deku.
And we see a cube man.
There's a man who is a cube. He's got like a little, like, I would describe it as like a samurai ponytail. Yeah. I'm sure it has a different name.
Probably.
And he tells...
But his head is a cube.
His head is a cube. He's completely gray. And he tells Kirishima to stay back. It's unsafe. And assures him that the teachers will take care of the injured. And Kirishima's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. All right, cool. And runs back.
I do want to point out also, All Might, when Kirishima was running over, All Might was like, oh, it's Kirishima. It's good to see he cares so much about his friend. Yeah. Wait, shit! He can't see me! But yeah, then this cube man walks around the wall he's created and sees All Might and Deku. And All Might says, you saved my butt, Cementos! And...
we get a present mic.
Well, not quite yet.
Okay.
First we get Cementos saying, my pleasure. I'm actually a big fan of yours. And he sort of like holds his hands together sort of excitedly, like he's trying to contain himself. And then we get a present mic zoom in on Cementos. His quirk, cement.
He can cement.
He can manipulate cement, which makes him good at fights in the urban jungle, as President Mike puts it.
Cementos' voice actor, since he got a President Mike shout out, is Chris Rager.
That's also a superhero name.
It could also be Roger or something like that. It was very hard to tell. I tried looking up interviews. I'm sorry, Chris Rager, if you're listening to this. He plays Will Powers in the Ace Attorney anime.
Oh, cool. He seems like he would.
Mr. Satan in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
And Torg in the Borderlands franchise.
Okay. I don't know who Torg is, but judging by the sound of the name, it feels like this guy has a type.
You know Macho Man Randy Savage?
Okay, yeah,
That's Torg.
Okay. So yeah, he has a type. He plays big, muscly man.
Cementos seems a lot calmer than his other characters, though.
Yeah.
Although Will Powers is like, his whole thing is like, he's
Will Powers isn't like excitable. He's just anxious.
Yeah. Japanese voice actor is Kenta Okuma,
Mm-hmm.
who is Todd in the Japanese dub of BoJack Horseman, and that's about it.
Okay.
Also, while we're doing voice actors, forgot to mention Tokoyami
Yeah.
is Josh Grell,
Bird Boy.
who is Yuri Katsuki in Yuri on Ice. He's one of
Okay.
the Yuris.
Hey.
Armin in Attack on Titan.
Okay. Wait, one of the Yuris?
There are 2 Yuris.
There are 2 Yuris on Yuri
yeah,
on Ice?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do they date each other or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think I think the
They're
other
just next to
Yuri's an
each other.
asshole.
Okay.
Um,
It's Yuri plural. I get it.
And his Japanese voice actor is Yoshimasa Hoshio,
Mm-hmm.
who is Reiner Brown in Attack on Titan, and Robin and Shigure in the Fire Emblem franchise.
Oh, cool.
We'll get a better opportunity for these next 2 characters later, but since I'm doing it, may as well.
Sure.
Ojiro, Tailboy,
Tailboy, yeah.
is Mike McFarland,
Uh-huh.
who is Master Roshi in Dragon Ball.
Okay.
Goemon Ishikawa, the 13th, in the Lupin franchise.
Okay.
And you remember the bird guy from the first few episodes? Not Nomu.
Oh, the guy in the bird costume.
Yeah. Who doesn't appear again, I forgot. Who is called the Bird Hero Hitchcock Doodle. Remember when you were like, hey, the hero names in this show are pretty good? Hitchcock Doodle.
It's 2.
It's 2 of them.
It's 2 bird things.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hitchcock directed the birds.
His Japanese voice actor is Kosuke Miyoshi, who's in it. This is it.
This is
all he's done.
Okay.
This is the only character he's played.
That's not even like an exaggerate. Like
no,
that's
literally all he's
okay.
played. Maybe he's in like live action stuff. I'm not sure. I didn't look that up. And finally, Toru Higakure, the Invisible Girl.
Yeah.
Who is played by Felicia Angel, who is Aoi Asahina in Danganronpa.
Mm-hmm.
And Nozomi Moritomo, one of the protagonists of The Rolling Girls, which is a good show that we should watch.
Okay.
Japanese...
That's the one about rollerblading, right?
No.
No? Okay.
They have bikes.
Oh, okay. Isn't there a show about rollerblading?
Probably. Her Japanese voice actress is Kaori Nazuka, who is Margaret Mitchell in Bungo Stray Dogs.
Okay. I have no idea what that is.
Do you know Margaret Mitchell?
No.
She wrote Gone with the Wind.
Oh. She's just in that anime?
Yeah, That's also the anime that had, like, Shakespeare or Hemingway or something.
Okay. That's it's just sort of a Clone High situation in that show. She's
Yurika in Yurika 7.
Okay. The eponymous Yurika.
And Hinoka in Fire Emblem Fates.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Cementos is a big fan.
Yes. And that's kind of the end of that scene.
Yeah.
And also, we won't see Cementos for the rest of this episode.
No, he's gone.
So I don't know why they gave him a present mic. But, you know.
They didn't give one to Snipe.
Is that his name?
That's his name.
Okay.
I don't think that's a spoiler to say.
I mean, certainly Hitchcock Doodle wasn't a spoiler, so... If it was Hitchcock-a-Doodle, that wouldn't be better, but it would be better.
Yeah.
Cock-doodle is nothing. That's not a pun.
That's when you are just, like, in class and you're, like, drawing some porn.
Mm-hmm. I knew you were gonna... Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You make obvious jokes all the time.
I do. That's true. I wasn't berating you for it. I was just...
It sounded like...
I'm sorry.
Your fucking tone.
I'm sorry. We cut to a city. We see signs that say that are advertising karaoke and mahjong, and I believe beer.
Yeah.
So you can tell this is a seedy part of town. You know, karaoke. I mean, if there's one thing I know about karaoke, it's that the Yakuza play it.
They sure do. Also, disgruntled red pandas.
Yeah, And we see the bar, the bad guy bar, from when we first saw Shigaraki.
And Shigaraki emerges from Kurogiri. Still, on the ground in pain from being shot.
And is like, they shot all of my limbs. This sucks. And he starts monologuing.
Surprise.
Except he is talking to someone, it seems. Not Kurogiri,
No.
who is here. We don't really see him reform into his shape, but he is here. We see
it at some
later.
point in the scene.
Yeah.
He puts on his bartender costume.
Which is, I really wanted, it to be that, Kurogiri at least got real fucked up by 13 at the end there.
But he seems fine.
He seems fine. It sucks that 13 didn't actually do much in that cool scene.
Yeah.
It was still cool, though.
Yeah.
And Shigaraki says a bunch of bullshit about how All Might wasn't actually weaker or anything. And he says, "You were wrong, Master! So wrong!" And we hear a voice say, "No, I wasn't. We just weren't as prepared as we should have been." And I think we see a screen.
We see a CRT that's on top of a stack of boxes.
That says no, I think sound only on it. It says sound only.
Sound only or no video or something like that.
And a different voice, also over this CRT, says, "I agree. We underestimated them. Thankfully, we failed under our cheap League of Villains scheme and not our own. And what about the creature the Master and I created? Where is Nomu?" And Kurogiri says he was blown away. And they're like, "What?" And they're very upset to learn about the creature they invested in so much to kill All Might has been knocked the fuck away. And also, as they're talking about them designing Nomu, we see a shot on the wall of an All Might poster that has been clawed. And Shigaraki is like, "Hey, that's not it, though. That's not all. There was this fucking kid.
This fucking
brat who went very fast, and he stopped me. He stopped us from killing All Might." And he's talking about how he wants to kill that kid, and, stuff. And the Master's voice, I believe, says, "Naturally you're upset," which I love that as a starting line to that. I love that all of the villains are just constantly pep talking Shigaraki to just talk him down from having a breakdown. Naturally,
I don't know if this changes. I don't remember if this changes later, but I do love how this isn't normally a character like Shigaraki, everyone would be condescending to him and ignoring the fact that he's about to have a breakdown. But they're just no, it's okay, Shigaraki, please calm down.
Tomura Shigaraki. He says, "Naturally you're upset, but this was not a futile mission. We learned many things. Gather the villainous elite. Take all the time you need. I must remain hidden in the shadows, which is why I need you to be my face, a symbol of your own. Tomura Shigaraki, next time you will show the world that it should be afraid of you." So I do, Shigaraki is just he feels like the other villain's Deku.
Yeah, basically.
He is trying to fill a role and is failing, but is trying, and the other villains are like, "No, it's okay, bud. You got this. You got this." And then we cut. And we see this is sort of a long denouement.
This is a long denouement.
It's been a long time since we said the word denouement.
Yeah, it has. Flip Flappers didn't really have those, and neither does this show because it's just boop. Just
what a description!
Shut up.
No, I love it genuinely because I knew what you meant. But yeah, all the kids are outside the USJ. There's a detective guy, and
Yeah.
you can tell he's a detective because he's wearing a trench coat.
coat.
And a bunch of cops are around, and they are all escorting various villains.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids are all outside, and they're talking about everything that just went down. And Hagakure, the invisible girl, talks to Ojiro, Tailboy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of names.
Is very clearly flirting with him.
Yeah.
And is like, hey, what's up?
Because we have not seen her this entire time, pretty much. And Ojiro's like, oh, hey, where were you? What happened with you? And Hagakure says, oh, I was in the landslide zone with Todoroki. I was just kind of watching what Todoroki was doing.
He's really cool.
He was really cool. And then Todoroki overhears that and is like, shit, I didn't even know she was there. I could have frozen her. I could have frozen her. And then Naval Laser is also here.
Yeah.
What's his name again? Does it matter?
Shit.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who's forgotten.
Aoyama,
okay. Aoyama is like, I bet you were wondering where I was this entire time. Did you miss me?
He's turned into Taco from Adventure Zone.
That's my best. I guess Taco is my best Aoyama impression. And
everyone's
just kind of ignores him. Mm-hmm. And he tries again with a different group of students, but they just keep talking among themselves. And then he just kind of just runs in front of Sue and is like, where do you think I was? And Sue is like, where? And he's like, it's a secret.
Yeah, I don't think I realized that we didn't see him.
We didn't see the girl who is literally invisible. And we also didn't see the loudest, most noticeable character, second to the kid who makes explosions with his hands.
Which is great.
And then the detective guy starts talking to the kids and everything. And the kids are like, hey, what's up with Mr. Aizawa? How's Mr. Aizawa doing? I think this is prompted by the detective saying that, like, other than young Midoriya, who got both his legs broken, there were no major injuries among the students. But the students are like, hey, how's Mr. Aizawa doing? And we see a hospital room, or like an advanced nurse's office room, or something.
I think
it seems like
Aizawa is at the hospital.
Okay, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And we hear a different voice than the detective, saying the bones in his arms are splintered and he's got facial fracturing. I don't even know what that is.
Bones.
I guess it's with the face bones.
The face bone. There's a name for that.
I think there's more than one. Huh?
Wait, is there? I mean, it's kind of just the skull, right?
Yeah, but the skull has got two pieces.
Okay, these two. One of them's, like, still attached to the other one.
I guess.
Like, basically always.
But you got a lot of bones in your arms, and those are all attached all the time. Also, you got teeth.
Those aren't bones!
Teeth are bones.
They're not bones.
They're part of the skeleton. Skeletons have teeth, which means teeth are skeletal. That's a lot of face bones.
Anyway, like his bones were fucked up.
His bones are all fucked up. Fortunately, there doesn't seem to be any serious brain damage. And we see, in that room, we see his, like, bloodied scarf in, like, a tray by his hospital bed. We don't really get a good look at Aizawa.
No. I think the voice also mentions that his orbital floor was fucked up.
I have no idea what that is.
It's part of the eyes.
Okay.
Which is bad.
And he says it's been almost completely destroyed. And we have no way of knowing if his eyesight will be impaired once he's healed up. And
all the students are like, his eyes are pretty important.
And also they're like, what about 13? Also, we see that this voice has been coming from a phone that the detective has put on speaker. I guess just called Aizawa's doctor.
Yeah.
And I think it is the doctor again who says, the doctor over the phone, who says, despite some pretty bad lacerations to the back, 13 is going to pull through good as new. And we do see an empty 13 suit next to a bed that has like a shape underneath a sheet.
Yeah.
So I guess they've got some physical form somewhere.
Yeah.
And also, vis-a-vis the other two who got real fucked up, Recovery Girl is tending to All Might and Deku. And everybody is, relieved that at least everybody's alive.
Yeah.
And then the detective guy talks to one of the other cops and tells him to, like, sort of deal with the rest of the proceedings with the villains and stuff while he investigates shit. And that cop is a cat man.
Cop is a cat.
He's a man with a cat's head.
Which Mina and Uraraka are excited about.
Well, Mina seems confused.
Mina is like, he's a cat? And Uraraka is like, aw, I like his bell.
Because he's got a little bell around his neck.
He's got a bell on his neck. I want a whole show about this guy.
I don't appreciate the girls just doing microaggressions at him, but...
Listen, it's a cute bell. They're teenagers, also. They don't know what a microaggression is.
We also see Bakugo, who is just sort of looking up at where the just at the school, I think, or at the USJ, or at something, and he's just mad that Deku is cool, I think. And then we see the principal in the USJ talking to a couple other heroes.
I think talking to the BDSM lady.
The BDSM lady and
Snipe, since I said his name.
Yeah, Snipe. And he's talking about improving security. And the BDSM lady hero, who didn't get to do much in that fight.
No.
That we saw at least, points out that warp quirks are pretty rare. And it's kind of upsetting that a villain has one. And the principal looks troubled. He looks troubled by this. Or by something. I'm not sure exactly what he's troubled by. But I think this is one of the few times we've seen him not smiling. We also the detective learns from some of the other cops that another villain has been apprehended. Because he was found in the fucking woods a little ways away. And it's Nomu.
Yep.
We see a shot of Nomu surrounded by cops with a shackle around his body, I would describe it. It's not like he's chained. It's like there's just a big thing containing his entire body.
And I think the cops mentioned that he's listening to them. Yeah,
he's cooperating and everything, although it's hard to communicate with him because he seems to not be able to speak. And then the detective, as the principal and the other heroes are coming out of the USJ, the detective talks to the principal and gets his permission to investigate every inch of the campus. And then we see the nurse's office, where All Might and Deku are in beds, and they're real fucked up. Yeah. And Recovery Girl is like, I guess I can't blame you for him getting injured this time. And the detective enters the nurse's office.
Well, I think first All Might is like, Deku apologizes to All Might, and All Might's like, it's fine. You helped out.
And then we hear an excuse me, and the detective comes in and says, "Hi, All Might. It's been a while." And All Might is immediately like, "What the hell? I didn't know you were investigating." And Deku is like, "Hey, what the fuck?
Is it cool for him to see you in skinny form?" And All Might's like, "Nah, this guy's all right."
He introduces him as Namaso
Sukoichi.
Sukouchi.
Namaso Sukuuchi, who is played by Alejandro Saab, who is Shallot in Dragon Ball. And that seems to be it.
Okay.
Kind of. His Japanese voice actor is Tokiyoshi Kawashima, who is Terry McGinnis in the Japanese dub of Batman Beyond.
Okay.
Baymax in the Japanese dub of Big Hero 6. I assume, I assume, does Baymax speak English? I haven't seen Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
And Lance in Pokemon Origins.
Okay. And as All Might is introducing him, he explains that he's my best friend on the police force. He's legit. I trust him.
And Namaso is like, yeah, so what's up with those villains? Yeah, so those villains were weird. I didn't think anyone could fuck you up this bad, All Might.
But he does congratulate All Might to an extent on saving an entire class of kids today.
And All Might's like, no, hold on, you're missing it. These kids did very good. And I
wrote this down verbatim. Yeah, okay. Do you want me to read it?
He gave a speech, yeah.
Okay. He says, those students also risked their lives. They fought as hard as us. And then Deku also sort of interrupts him here and says, thank you, All Might. Which is very cute. And All Might continues, I don't think there's ever been a group of first years who experienced a fight like this so early in their training. They not only survived, they learned what it means to be a pro. Those villains made a mistake attacking them. This class is strong. They're filled with courage and drive. Mark my words, they'll become great heroes. And then All Might gives a thumbs up to Deku.
I think we also, like, as the speech is happening, we see, like...
Yeah.
We see, like, shots of all of the students looking very determined. And the quiet boy looking scared. Because he just always kind of looks scared.
And I think that's the end of the episode.
Well,
that's the end of
Then the credits roll. And it's like movie credits?
Yeah, it's a different credit sequence. Yeah, it's not the usual credit animation.
It's the same song, but it's like the credits on a black field.
Yeah.
With like a little frame showing scenes from the show that we've seen.
Yeah.
And then there's a stinger.
Yeah.
Deku has been released from the nurse's office.
He meets up with the other kids.
He meets up with Uraraka and Ida, at least.
Right, yeah. And he internally monologues. Well,
I think this is just narration.
We get narration from Deku saying, we had no way of knowing, but the League of Villains attack on the USJ was just the beginning. A bigger incident was on the horizon. And then as we see him like leaving with Uraraka and Ida and chatting happily with them. And he says, we were just happy to be alive, to have shown that we had the potential to be real heroes, but the worst was yet to come. And then we see sitting, crouching on top of a skyscraper of some kind. Against like a big city skyline. A man... a person. A person, yeah. I know he's a man. Wearing some sort of mask that is, like, tied behind his head and flapping in the wind. Yeah, and he's got a bunch of scarves, it looks like, or something. Some kind of, like, a bunch of, like, tattered fabric surrounding him. And we see him do a creepy smile, silhouetted. He licks his lips. And then, next time, come back for season 2. Yeah! All Might says that. Yeah. So that's the finale. That's the finale. We're going to do a separate recording for our thoughts on the series as a whole. Yeah. Because this has been going very long. And this is a show we're definitely going to revisit. Yes, we're definitely going to come back for seasons 2 and 3 and 4 and probably all of them. Before we go, we should mention the show we're watching next, probably. Yeah. Which is a return. Yeah. To Sailor Moon. Yeah. We're returning excited for Sailor Moon R. That's the same as season 2, right? Yes. Okay. I forgot all the Sailor Moon seasons have, like, names.
In between this and that, we will also be watching the very first Pokemon movie.
Yeah! Uh-huh.
Which should be fun. So as always, thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me at Lorena27 on Twitter.
And you can find me at Frylord Zarek on Twitter.
And you can find the show at late_school.
And thank you to Soichi Sakagami for the use of the song Trip.
Go beyond.
Plus Ultra!
Who is played by Christopher Bevins in English.
Okay.
Who doesn't have a lot of roles that I seemed notable.
Notable? Okay.
He's Yasuhiro Hagakure in Danganronpa.
Okay. I've heard of Danganronpa. I don't know who that
I haven't heard of this character, but he's a Danganronpa.
Mm-hmm.
And those games are like, they're like, you know, all of those cast members show up. Anyway.
No, hang on.
Actually, I just realized that I completely misread my notes and everything I said was wrong.
Shit. Can we add that as a stinger?
We can put that in as a stinger.
Because I'm not gonna get over all the cast members show up.